is the main clause because of the wherein is the subordinate clause. So they make complex sentences. Compound complex sentence. The compound complex sentence contains at least two main clauses and at least one main clause. Examples: we sang and they danced to the rhythm to celebrate our victory. We have we sang as a main clause, they danced as a main clause, then we have to celebrate our victory as a subordinate clause. So the sentence makes a compound complex sentence. In the absence of questions, the teacher brought out a sheet of paper, dictated the questions, and asked us to answer them in 30 minutes. In the absence of questions is the subordinate clause. The teacher brought out a sheet of paper is the main clause, dictated the questions is the main clause, asked us to answer them in 30 minutes is a main clause. You can put it this way in another form. The teacher brought out a sheet of paper, the teacher dictated the questions, the teacher asked us to answer them in 30 minutes. So the subordinate clause in the sentence is in the absence of questions. That she may obey. Her mother took her to school, reported her to the principal, who spanked her severally on her back. That she may obey is a subordinate clause. Her mother took her to school is the main clause. Reported her to the principal is the main clause. Who spanked her severally on her back is a subordinate clause. So we have two subordinate clauses and two main clauses. The second category of sentences based on function. We have four types under this category. The first one we have is declarative sentence. Second, imperative sentence. Third, we have interrogative sentence. And lastly, we have exclamatory sentence. The declarative sentence. The declarative sentence expresses statements of fact. Such declaration might be true or false in the real sense, and it might be negative or affirmative. Examples: they have come home. Tolu is here. The earth is spherical. The ball is in your court. I don't like basketball. These are declarations. Imperative sentence. The imperative sentence expresses command or request. Examples: get out of here. See me now. Silence, please. Remove your cap. Answer my question. These are commands or requests. Interrogative sentence. The interrogative sentence is meant to ask questions, and it usually ends with question marks. There are different types of questions in the English language. The first category we have is the WH question. Such questions start with what, who, which, whose, where, and how. Examples: whose books are those? Where is your bag? Who shut the door? What do you want? How did you do it? Which of these bags is yours? The second type of question we have is polar questions. Polar questions are questions that require yes or no answers. Examples: did you open the window? Does she know about the incident? Was there power supply at the moment? Were they around? Is it your friend? All these questions require yes or no answers. The third category of question is the rhetorical questions. These are questions that are meant to be asked dramatically or emphatically. They are asked for dramatic and emphatic purposes, and they do not require answers. Examples: who does not love good things of life? Where else can one find safety if not in God? How can you pass your exam without studying hard? We discover that these are statements, these are questions that do not require answers. The fourth type of question is the tag questions. In tag questions, statements are converted to questions, and there are rules to this effect. The first rule: If the statement is in the positive or affirmative form, the question will be in the negative. And if the statement is in the negative, the question will be in the positive or affirmative. Examples. The first examples are examples of statements in the positive and their tag questions in the negative. She killed the rat. Didn't she? I clean the house every day. Don't I? They were busy sewing. Weren't they? We can see from afar. Can't we? So we have positive statements and negative question tags. Examples of sentences or statements in negative forms and their tag questions in positive or affirmative. She didn't kill the rat, did she? I don't clean the house every day, do I? They weren't busy sewing, were they? We can't see from afar, can we? So we have negative statements and positive questions. Another rule states that the auxiliary verb do will be used to form the question tag if the statement does not contain an auxiliary verb. Examples: she danced. Didn't she? In this statement, there is no auxiliary verb in the sentence, so we are going to add do, the verb do, to form the question tag, and that is why we have didn't she as the question tag. He sings. Doesn't he? I sing choruses. Don't I? They run every day. Don't they? Then in forming question tag, the subject of the sentence should remain as it is while changing the sentence to a question. That is, the subject should not be tampered with. The subject should remain the same. Examples: she danced. Didn't she? The subject in the statement is she, and it is maintained in the question tag. So we have didn't she? He sings. Doesn't he? I sing choruses. Don't I? They run every day. Don't they? The underlined words in the examples are the subject of the sentences, and they remain in the question tag. Then, in question tags, tenses like present tense, past tense, participle, and future tenses should be expressed in question tag. Examples: we shall meet again. Shan't we? The statement is expressing future tense, so we have the question tag too in future tense. I can see you. Can't I? I can see you is in the present, and the question tag too is in the present form. He played on the field. Didn't he? Played there expresses past tense, so we have didn't as the tag question. Tolu has gone to school. Hasn't she? We have that in participle. Exclamatory sentence. The exclamatory sentence expresses feelings and emotions of speakers, and it usually ends in exclamation mark. Examples: how time flies. Oh, what a day. How glorious it will be. Active and passive voices. The active voice. In active voices, the subject precedes the verb in the sentence. Examples: he killed the goat. He is the subject of the sentence, and killed is a verb. Killed, which is a verb, comes after the subject, which is he. So we have he killed the goat. I locked the gate. I is the subject, while locked is the verb. So it comes after the subject, which is I. She has seen the man. They clean the house. They run a business. In these examples, we have the subject coming first and the verb coming after. Passive voice. The passive voice expresses sentences wherein the subject is made to stand in the position of the object and the object is placed in the position of the subject. Let's consider these examples, and we'll try to compare the active and the passive voices. In the active voice, we can have something like he killed the goat, and then under the passive voice, we can have the goat was killed by him. Now we have the goat as the subject, standing in the position of the subject, while he, that was used in active voice, has been changed to him to be the receiver of an action, and then standing in the position of object. So in passive voice, the object will be made to stand in the position of the subject, while the subject will be made to stand in the position of the object. Now let's see some other examples. I locked the gate. Passive voice. The gate was locked by me. I has changed to me in passive voice. She has seen the man. The man has been seen by her. She changes to her in passive voice. They run a business. A business was being run by them. Direct and indirect or reported speeches. The direct speech. The direct speech is the exact, unedited statement being expressed by someone. It is written in quotation marks. Examples. She said, I need some salt. In this example, she said is separated from the word that she said. So we have comma behind she said. Then we are quoting the words that she said. We have I need some salt in quotation mark. Do you need my service? So they asked. Do you need my service is the speech that we are reporting. And the person that we are reporting is Tunde. Tunde made a question, a request. Do you need my service? So do you need my service in inverted comma, and there is a comma before we put the speaker's name. Don't be silly, the teacher shouted. Give the keys to me, Billy demanded. So we can have the words or the statement before the name of the speaker or after the name of the speaker, just as we have in example 1 and example 2, 3, and 4. In example 1, the name of the speaker comes first, while in other ones we have the speaker